Hello shooters. Today we're going to do a trigger service on this Perazzi MX trigger right here. This is about a 95,000 serial number trigger. And the pulls have gotten too light on it, and the top barrel has a lot of creep into it. It's got about 20 thousandths of creep. You can't minimize that to 0, but we can minimize it to less than 5 thousandths. And just so you know, this is what I use to do trigger service with. This is an Amada trigger pull gauge. You can see right here that this is calibrated in 1 ounce. Each ounce on the dial is an ounce of trigger pull. So we're going to try to set this thing up, and I'm going to show you how light this trigger is. The bottom barrel is firing right about 2 pounds, and the top is firing about 50 ounces. So that was exactly 32 ounces there. And here we're going to see this right a little over 3 pounds. So that was right at 3 pounds. I like these triggers to be a little between about 3.5 and 3.7 pounds and minimize the creep. Now, I'm not going to show you everything I'm going to do to this trigger, but I'm going to show it to you after we get it done and put it all back together. See you in a minute. So here we are back after we've modified the trigger. So what did we do? First off, I checked to make sure that all the parts are present in the trigger. About 8 out of every 10 triggers I get in have either the sear springs cut right underneath here, or the sear plungers missing, or the sear sleeves missing. Some people think that's the way to lighten up a Perazzi trigger, but that is not the way to do it. Those parts are there for a reason. So what I did off camera was I changed the sears around. I did not replace the sears because that's very expensive. I changed the geometry of the sears around, and now this trigger is running about 3.7 pounds on the bottom. We'll see here in just a second exactly where it is. You can hear the trigger fire here in a minute. So it's right at 3.8 pounds for the first. They usually lighten up just slightly for the subsequent pulls. And it's right at 60 ounces for the bottom. And then here on the top, I set it just a little bit heavier. So it's about right at 4 pounds. So that's the results off the Amada gauge. And we've got a trigger service here that's been done. I also drove some carbon into the tree. The tree is the weak part of the Perazzi trigger, and that way these edges here that engage the back of the sears will stay good and sharp and not wear. So that's a trigger service.